My talk today is on weapons of a pentester, both physical and software-based. So I hope you guys like it. So this is a quick little disclaimer. This presentation is only intended for professional SecTor attendees. It may contain information, content, and opinions that are not necessarily that of my employers. All content is for educational purposes only. Review the laws, only attack systems that you own and or have permission in order to do so. By no means am I endorsing the illegal use of any tools, not just the ones I'm demoing today, and no individuals, equipment, or people or pets were harmed in the making of this presentation. I speak for no one, and I hope no one speaks for me in this room. Cool? Awesome, let's get started. So my name is Aleks. I'm a pen tester. Been doing it for about 3 years now. I absolutely love tools. I love being able to do this because I get to play around with all these toys here. I also run DEF CON Toronto with a couple of other volunteers. I see a couple of you here, a few of my members. I absolutely love it. We're about 1,000 members strong, a little bit more than 1,000, and I've only been running it now for about a year and a half. So definitely come check us out. We're on Meetup. Shameless little plug here. We are hosting a CTF on December 9th. If you haven't registered a team already, I definitely encourage you guys to register. Just go to dc416.com/CTF. So what is this presentation about? It's going to be about tools, tools of a pen tester. Wide variety, like I said, anything from attacking websites to attacking locks. I gave this presentation about 2 years ago at B-Sides Toronto. And they absolutely loved it. I see some of you who were there at the first presentation, and I guess backed by popular demand, SecTor wanted me to come do the presentation here. So I've added a couple of more tools. As well, I'm going to be doing live demos. So fingers crossed. I'm good with the demo gods. I'll tell you guys why. Yeah, these are the 9 different tools or 9 different hacks. I'll be hacking a lock, radio, Wi-Fi, LANs, USB, hacking websites, browsers, frameworks, RFIDs, and this lamp here. So, satisfaction guaranteed. I've been saving up a bunch of good karma. I haven't had a drink in the last 24 hours. I sold Fred's soul to the demo gods. And worst case scenario, I do have video backups in case all of this hits the fan. And I actually did sell Fred's soul to the demo gods. There's a sacrifice agreement right there. James Arlen actually accepted on their behalf. So it's going to be rapid fire. It's going to be different tools. There's no sort of order into how I'm going to be demoing these. So feel free to ask me questions afterwards, because I'm not sure if I'll have time afterwards for questions, but we'll see. So the first one is hacking locks. Who here has picked the lock? Show of hands. A lot of you. All right, these are my people. Physical security. So as we all know, physical security is a big part of any InfoSec good strategy at any company. They include things like cameras, man traps, RFID tags, biometric sensors, motion detectors, and locks. I mean, you could have all the fire rules and the greatest SIM rules in the world, but if employees and clients can go into your server room and just take equipment out and walk out the front door, you've got no security. You've got horrible security. So I'm a big advocate for good physical security controls, and I'll be demoing the art of lockpicking. Some people actually think that the tools that I use here are cheating, but I just call it winning. But this is the basics of lockpicking. And there's a lockpicking village downstairs. I encourage all of you to go down there and try your hand at picking some of these locks. You can also buy some picks and some tension wrenches, as well as locks, see-through ones. I just picked one up for myself, which is awesome. But this is how it works. You have a tension wrench, which is constantly applying a torsional force against the inner chamber. And then you have bottom pins and top pins. And they're set at different levels. And at the very middle is the shear line. When you have all the pins that match to the shear line, that's when you actually unlock the lock. So there's different methods on how to break into a lock. certain individuals use raking or scrubbing. Other individuals are really crafted, and they can actually feel the individual pins moving up. But then there's others like me who use the snap gun. Pretty simple tool. This is how it works. It has an iron rod on it, and when you click on the trigger, it just applies a little tiny flick, almost a spring tension-loaded flick to the iron rod. The key to using this is putting it completely horizontally, so it's touching all the pins, and when you flick it, it'll actually knock the bottom pins up, causing the inertia to knock the top pins up, and hopefully you've knocked them all above the shear line, which will allow you to bypass it and go right in. Demo time. This is a nice little door that I made with some of my friends on one drunken night. And this right here is the actual snap gun. Now, I'm not going to be breaking into this deadbolt right here, because this is a live demo. I'll just be breaking into this low-grade little handle door lock. You guys can see, it is locked. So everyone just hold your breath. Hopefully your soul is good. Yeah, I have only about like 2 minutes. I calculated it. Now, as you can hear, I'm snapping it. And I'm just applying a light tension to it. The snap gun. All right. Oh, God, that was the hard one. I should have showed you this while I was doing it. Oh, that adrenaline rush. You all know what I'm talking about. OK, so hacking radios now. If we look at today's world, everything has radio frequency embedded in it, whether it's small little IoT devices, gated communities. Everything now runs off of this sub 1 gigahertz frequency, and these are the different types of modulation. Just because there's an airwave out there doesn't mean that you can just like pick it up and just replay it. There's a lot of different security built around radio frequency, some utilizing fixed codes, others utilizing rolling codes. And these are 3 different types of modulation. The first one is ASK, amplitude shift keying. So you can see that when the amplitude changes, it'll actually detect whether it's just a 0 or a 1, the different bytes that you're trying to transfer. Then you have over here, which is phase shift keying, which actually changes the phase, and that signifies the 1 in your byte. And then you have phase shift keying over here. The first one is frequency shift keying, sorry. So some of the things that you can actually break into or are radio operated, you have certain bollards, barriers, rolling steel doors. If you get the actual code to break into these, or you can do some replay attacks, and there's also a couple of ways that you can actually break into rolling codes as well by jamming a certain frequency on the receiver end, but I won't be demoing that at all because I'm not going to be putting on a jammer here. But I'll be showing you guys just some awesome tools here that you could use to start to get involved with amateur ham radio. This right here is an awesome tool. It's right here. I use the NoElect RTL SDR, which SDR stands for Software Defined Radio. This little dongle right here plugs into your computer, runs off of Linux, Mac, Windows, and right in here you can see I have it tuned using GQRX, which will pick it up. I have it tuned to about 433 megahertz, and you can actually listen to what signals are actually going off in that range. Next, the other tool that I highly recommend, which is awesome for pen testers, is this Yardstick 1. Who's heard of the Yardstick 1? Who has one? Just show of hands. Not too many. Awesome, OK. This is what it looks like. I've actually wrapped mine because it just comes in an open PCB board. You don't want to destroy this like $100 piece of equipment. And it has a telescopic antenna here. I have 2 because they are half duplex. Either transmit or receive. Works underneath the 1 gigahertz frequency. Also capable of those modulations that I was talking about before, amplitude shift keying, frequency shift keying, data rates of up to 500 kilobits per second, full speed of USB 2.0, and comes with RFCat installed on the firmware. RFCat, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like Netcat, but it's a Python-based interactive shell. So you can actually use this dongle as if it was just Netcat. So you could start listening in on a frequency. You can start to transmit little bits as well. Some people actually built their own chat systems with 2 different yardstick ones, and they were chatting over radio frequency. So there's a lot of cool little ham radio hacks that you can do with this device. So Nick, what are we hacking today? We're hacking a lamp. That's right. This is my lamp. It's actually in my bedroom, but now it's over here. So I see this thing every day. I guarantee it works. And it has this one tiny little remote here. And the way that it works is that a simple on switch and off switch. So you guys probably want to see me turn it on without the switch, right? I didn't hear you. What? Yes. That's what I like to hear. Encourage me. Demos. So far, so good, Fred. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get out of the presentation for a second. Oh, it's like super loud here. So this is GQRX. I have everything tuned up with my SDR for this room. There's a lot of static here, so you can see that it's a little crazy, but I'm going to just turn it on right here. Oh, geez, it's a little finicky. Just give me 1 second. I trust it. Thank you all for being a little patient here. I tried to have it all set up beforehand. Oh, okay, thank God. All right. You can see that I'm currently tuned to 433 megahertz, and that the reason why is because I did a little bit of reconnaissance on this device. There's this little tiny ID, and I'm sure I went to that one talk where they did IoT hacking, and the speaker said you can go and research that FCC ID online, and that's exactly what I did. And you can see everything from test reports to the internals of this exact device. It's all published online for everyone to consume and look at. So I've tuned it properly. If the audio on the HDMI was working, you would actually hear it because I have the actual audio of the current static noise going on. And someone in the front row might be able to hear it, but I can go ahead and turn it on. Now what it did right there is actually using FSK, frequency shift keying, to transmit bytes to this little device here connected to the power source, because this isn't a smart lamp. I just turned it into one with a little tiny RF device. And then I also have the off key. And sometimes it doesn't pick it up. Like I said, there's a little bit of static here, but you can see that when I'm turning off, you can see it go on. And now I'm going to turn it on. There you go. So what I've used, and in the past I did it, I already captured that signal, put it into like a WAV file, analyzed it using Inspectrum, which is a great tool. You guys should just definitely Google it. I'm not going to demo that part right now. And you can actually stretch and zoom into the signal, and you can see the peaks and valleys in the actual signal, and you can decode what it's actually transmitting through the airwaves in binary. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it off. Fred, don't touch it. Just leave it on there. That's the code. Nothing. You can see that it transmitted it right there, and it was captured, but it didn't actually turn on. Sorry guys, it must have the wrong code. What I will do, no, it is the on code. I had it like preset and I checked it. That is the on code. Thank God for this right here. I'm glad I'm showing you guys. Let me just go here. I have this demo insurance policy folder. Here is my GQRX replay attack in my home with less static, less noise. Enjoy. Look at that strong signal. And so there's my device, there's my setup. There's a different lamp. Turned it off, turned it back on. Show the device, it's connected right there. Go back. You can see the yardstick one is plugged in on the right. I quickly zoomed into it at the very start. There's my Python RF cat script. It's beautiful. It's Python based, so you can really play around with it and hack around. You can see I turned it off. The lights in the back are all off. I put the device away. Run my replay attack. Boom. I guarantee it works. Something's going on right now, but thank God for that video, right? All right, moving on. So I couldn't show you the money, I'm sorry. Hacking LANs. This is a tool that I'm just going to be showcasing, but I'm not actually going to be doing a demo because I don't want to be hacking around with the LAN. I don't have the Ethernet cable. But this little device right here, who's heard of it? Who has one? The LAN Turtle. Awesome. Okay, so I'm glad that some people know about it. You can ask the people who rose their hand to show you a demo after the conference or the talk. So this little guy is the actual physical man-in-the-middle device. Awesome for pen testing engagements, especially when you have access to like a server cabinet or a data center. Taking this guy and plugging him into a USB of a computer will actually physically send that computer an IP address. You can do a bunch of tools. You can have a bunch of tools installed on it. You can do DNS spoofing. It has persistent shells as well. So it's like the persistent physical man in the middle that you just drop at a location, walk away, and you know that you're going to have a shell in that company. Some cool things that you can do with it is it actually acts and pretends that it's a USB Ethernet adapter. And you just put something like that into a server cabinet, and I guarantee no one's going to want to remove it. But like I said, it's actually backed by a great community, Hack5. Have you guys heard of them? Woo, those guys are awesome, right? A lot of these tools that I have are from them. Like I said, you can do man-in-the-middle DNS spoofing attack. You can phish websites, and it's perfect for pivoting. Also, you can launch the interpreter shell with it. So a great device. Definitely recommend you guys grabbing it, but it's just kind of like a plug-and-play. You can do a bit of customization in your home lab before you deploy it. So definitely check it out. Hacking USBs with the rubber ducky. I'm sure everyone in here must know what a rubber ducky is. Show of hands if you have one / have used one. Higher, come on, I can't see you. Okay, good, awesome. So this right here is the USB rubber ducky. I lost mine in an engagement, so courtesy of Brendan Hohendel, if he's here, shout out to him. Thank you for letting me borrow this. So the USB rubber ducky is not a regular USB. It acts like a keyboard, and computers inherently trust keyboards because keyboards are used by humans. So it actually has like firmware on here to say, I'm a keyboard. I'm not actually USB. So when you plug me in, don't worry about me. So this guy's really awesome. He's one of my favorite tools. And these are some of the use cases for it. You can inject a small little tiny file in here, and you can run scripts on the fly. So the keyboard not only is a keyboard, but it does automated keystrokes right when you plug it in. Awesome tool. Definitely recommend it. So you can use it for reconnaissance. You can extract files. You can learn about a network. Any commands that you can physically type on someone's open computer, you can do with this. So you can even craft a malicious payload on the fly on the person's computer right when you plug it in. Great tool. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to use it here. So it's backed by a great community as well, Hack5. You can use an online tool right here at ducktoolkit.com/encoder. It actually has a different device when you plug in its little micro SD card to actually have the file in there. So when you try to write to it, you're not actually constantly attacking your own system. And that's what I use. I use this online tool to just write my text file right on the website. I say encode it. It gives me a little inject.bin file. Throw it on there, unplug it, plug it back into my victim computer with the housing and everything on there. I mean, it looks pretty instant, doesn't it? Let's see what it does. It's demo time, guys. I love that. Okay, what I'm gonna have to do here is move some stuff around. I'm gonna unplug my yardstick 1. Unplug this guy. Here goes nothing. Any suggestions before I plug it in? What do you think it's gonna do? Nothing? All right. Hold on. Hold on, it's not supposed to be doing this. Let me eject GQRX for a second. Yeah. I don't need you right now. Get out of here. Oh, thank you. Just created a little file there called YOLO. I don't know why it was opening up GQRX for some reason. I guess because I installed GQRX and it had like that little CD-ROM icon there. Kind of scared me for a second. I was like, what's going on? But I'm glad that it just ran a quick little innocent script here. Back to the presentation. God, this demo is going great. All right, hacking websites. Let's do this, guys. So some tools that we can use for hacking websites, they're already there. Pentesters are individuals that love to get just the job done. They like to pop shells, they like to be into the company, try to extract as much information as possible, and then move on to the next target, pivot as fast as they can. We really highly leverage the security researchers to find vulnerabilities and write POCs. And what I love doing is looking at these POCs and weaponizing them, taking them and looking at exactly how are they written and how can I use them as a tool for my next engagement. So who here has heard of the struts vulnerability? I'm sure a lot of you have. It's been in the news recently. What I did was I created a struts vulnerable Tomcat server internally on my computer. I'm going to be showing you guys how I broke into it utilizing a tool, just an exploit, and I'll show you how it goes from there. It's demo time. How am I doing for time? I'm good? Awesome. All right. There we go. My Ubuntu server. Looks good. IP address. You guys can see that? It's a little small, I know. But Tomcat's running on there. We're all good. So what I'm going to do here is Kali Linux. I have this exploit Python script. And I grabbed it literally from the exploit DB. Awesome resource to grab a lot of exploits in Python file and just bring it down to your computer and read about it, see how it works. And this exploit actually works by attacking a Tomcat server, and I'll show you exactly right here, that's running the struts REST service right here. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leverage that exploit. There's a vulnerability in how it's parsing its XML data, and it allows people to inject code straight into the Tomcat server. So it's an RC, a remote code execution vulnerability. So here we can see it's running. Let me just refresh this. Yep, looks good. Everything's looking all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see whether or not I can actually reach out to that server and just make it try to wget a file on my malicious computer, which is the .13. And it's trying to just grab this fake file that doesn't actually exist. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start netcat. And it's going to be listening on port 443. Someone's texting me. And here you can see that I'm injecting, or I'm running this exploit with the first argument as the IP address of the server, the port that it's running off of, the struts2 rest showcase, and right now I'm attacking the orders/3, so the third order in that RESTful API. Perfect. So here you can see that I was running netcat, and someone reached out to me from IP address 192.168.2.14, and they tried to grab this. They tried to do a GET request for this fake.file. I don't have that fake.file, but I'm just proving that, yes, this website is vulnerable to a remote code execution. The code that I executed was wget. So let's go one step further. So we're going to craft a payload for this file, or for this server. And this payload is going to be a reverse TCP connection. And I'm going to be using MSF Venom payload Linux x86 lhost 13 is the attacker. Port 443 out file www or var www html rev shell. Perfect, okay. I just was forgetting the equal signs there. Can everyone see that okay? That's all right? How do I make the font bigger here? Control, Shift, plus. Thank you. I don't know where that came from, but thank you, buddy. So we created the file. I put it into my local Apache server, just in the root directory. And what I'm going to do now is I'm listening on 443 over here. I'm going to now attack the server. Exploit HTTP 192.168.2.14. It's running on 8080. Struts2 rest showcase / orders3. Hopefully I got that right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it CD into a file that I know the user has write permissions to. And I have to encode the double and %. And then after I make it CD into that directory, I'm going to make it wget http 192.168.2.13 : actually I'm making it grab from my Apache server, which is 80. And I'm going to make it grab this rev shell. That's what I named it, right? And then after that, I'm going to mod the file. I really hope this works. Does anyone see any typos? Where?
Just missed a hash line.
The
Before the 37.
4? Where? Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, guys. That's it? Everything else looks okay? Yeah. Right here. Why am I missing these hashes? Listening. Looks good. Looks good. Should I run it? Ah. I did something wrong.
TCP'd out this 443.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you. What did I miss? I don't think I need to make it HTTPS. 8080 struts 2 rest showcase orders. Going into this directory, what I should do I'm going to just check to see if it actually did the wget for the file. So I'm going to look at the access logs on my Apache server. And it looks like it was hit today. Yeah. So it's just not running it. What I'm going to do, cap my notes, copy this, paste it. Different IP addresses though. Go to 13, and then you go to 14. 38. Oh, I was typing 37. There we go. Thank God for notes. I don't have to play that video. Back to the presentation. Okay. I was close. I was really close. So, next up, Beef and the Metasploit framework. Now, there's going to be a great talk following mine on the tips and tricks of Metasploit, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, as well as the Beef framework. But what I'm going to be showcasing here is just a simple slide about what they're about for those of you who don't know. I definitely recommend anyone who wants to get into pen testing or want to learn about it, check out these two awesome frameworks filled with like just the basics understanding of how to break into browsers with the Beef framework and how to run exploits on the exploit framework known as Metasploit. So Beef, for those of you who don't know, stands for the Browser Exploitation Framework. It allows pen testers to access target environments using a client-side attack using their own browser. The way that it works is when you start up Beef, it has this hook, and it's a JavaScript file. And if you can take that hook file and you can do a cross-site scripting attack, or you can put it into an HTML file on a server that you either have owned or you own, you can have the client actually download that hook.js file, and it runs right there. That's kind of how you hook the clients into your browser, into your Beef framework. And then at that point, you can run a bunch of remote execution commands. Like I could have a file start to download on their browser automatically. I could do some phishing attacks where I can have a little Facebook pop-up page that says, oh, your session in Facebook just happened to time out. Just log back in. I could redirect you to a phishing Gmail page so you can actually go ahead and try to log into your Gmail. But it's not going to Gmail. It's going to me. So that's an awesome framework. I definitely recommend you guys look into it. I'm going to do a quick little demo of it right after I showcase a little bit about Metasploit here. Not going to spend too much time on this slide. I do recommend checking out the Metasploit talk after this. I'm actually going to go there as well. I'm excited to learn about it, a little bit more about the tips and tricks. But it comes pre-installed right into Kali Linux, which is a great Pentesters operating system, a distro based off of Debian. I've been using it like for a while now. I've been using like backtrack days. So I've been doing this for a while. And I'm going to give you guys a quick little live demo of Beef. All right. So I've started up Metasploit, and I've actually integrated the two. And it's really easy for you guys. You can check out some online tools. Just Google it, how to connect Beef and Metasploit together, and it allows you to carry over some of those payloads from Metasploit into Beef. And so over here, I've started Beef by just typing the Beef command, and it's running right now. So now when I go to this page right here, just my Apache server that's running on my malicious Kali Linux VM, I can see here if I inspect it that in the head, I have my script here with the source of the malicious server and this hook.js file. So I can see that's running right now on my Mac. And now if I go over here to my Kali Linux VM, I can see here that I have an online browser. Can you guys see that? It's a little difficult, but that right there is my Mac computer. And what I can do is I can do a lot of crazy things. Over here in the command, well, in the details, I can see everything about this browser that just connected to me. I could see exactly what page it's landed on, the IP address, the operating system, so I could see it's running OS X. I could see exactly the screen size. This is all really good information. I could even use it for browser fingerprinting as well if I wanted to. So if I go over here to the commands, you see a whole slew of different commands that you can remotely execute on that browser session right there on my Mac computer. So over here, if I go into social engineering, here's where some of my favorites are. Best way to get people to download a file, either I can even redirect them. So if they're currently on my page, I could live, whenever I inject the command into their browser, redirect them to another malicious site that I have in mind, or redirect them into anywhere. Just your imagination can go wild with it. So over here, I'm going to quickly, not minimize that. I just want to do this so you guys can see it running. So let's run the fake flash update. Now, when I tested this out, it looked like it was a little broken. But when I click on the command, I can actually have a quick little description here on the far right panel to tell me a little bit about what this command does. So this fake Adobe Flash update is supposed to have a little pop-up that shows up on the browser screen that says, your Adobe player needs to be upgraded. Please install it right here. Now, when I tested this out, it looked like it was a little broken, like the UI. So the fishing of this probably wouldn't work as well as I wanted to. But here you can customize all the input parameters that you want. I can go ahead and I can execute it. And here, you can see that the screen went a little bit dark. If I was on IE, there would actually be the UI of that update page, and I would just click it, and it would automatically run a download, a drive-by download for me. So another thing that I could do here, browsers, hooked. I could redirect the browser over here. So definitely recommend you guys check out Beef and play around with it, because it could be perfect for breaking into a couple of your end clients' computers and just incorporate it into your attack strategy. What are some other things I can do here? So there's a fake notification bar. There's a Google phishing. So, oh, look at that. Let's log into my Gmail. I don't recognize this URL. So that's a Beef framework, and pretty simple, really easy demo. Let me just close that here. Go back to the presentation. So another one that I'm going to showcase is RFID hacking. How am I for time? You're good. I'm good? An amazing tool if you guys want to get into RFID hacking / NFC hacking is this right here, the Proxmark3. This thing is great. I have an RFID tag here that I'm going to just quickly scan and see all the information on here. And I don't have an actual unlocked device on stage here for you, but I will actually show you exactly all the information that's stored on this HID device here. So, and it's really cool. They sell portable ones for you guys if you want to use just like a small little mini one. You go in, tap someone's badge, go over and just see if you'll get access to it. But this one right here is like the development kit. So I'm just going to go ahead and plug this in. This right here is the low frequency antenna. It also comes with a high frequency antenna as well. I just need to quickly tune it for you guys here. So it comes with a bunch of support for different clients. Mac OS client, Ubuntu, Windows. We're going to go into Mac here. Yeah, if it's hard for me to see, I'm sorry. It's probably really hard for you guys to see it as well. Proxmark3. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to just figure out what this is plugged in as. Because I don't think that it's... Sorry guys, I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this one. Yeah, skip this one. Sorry, this is a bad one. And this is the only one that I didn't actually put my insurance policy video on. Afterwards, I will be outside. I'm going to hack around with it. So if you guys want to see me read the HID card, I can definitely do that. All right, next one, Wi-Fi. Now, I recently was going to do this one second, but I thought with all of my VMs and everything running on this little portable router that I have here, I thought everything was going to crash if I ran this as my second hack. So save this one for last. This is awesome. When I saw this, I was like, home is where the Wi-Fi connects automatically. I must have a lot of homes. So the tool I'm going to be showcasing here is Wifiphiser. And this is one of my favorite tools. It's what I demoed back at B-Sides. The reason why I love this tool so much is because it combines hardware, software, and phishing, like social engineering, all in one attack. And the way that you use it is with this, these two TP links, capable of injection and monitoring mode. Super cheap. I definitely recommend you guys getting these guys. They're perfect for Wi-Fi hacking. Now, the way that Wifiphiser works is that you have a victim AP, an access point that you want to break into, and you have the clients attached to it. Now, the way that Wifiphiser works is that you have these two antennas. When you run it, the first antenna says, "Who do you want me to attack, boss?" And then you get to choose the SSID that you want to attack. In this case, we're going to be attacking my own router right here. And it's not even really attacking the router per se. It's just cloning the SSID. So it's creating like a kind of an evil access point, a clone of it, if you will. and it's kind of broadcasting it on one of the little Wi-Fi adapters here. What happens afterwards is the twin of it says, I want to see all of the clients attached to this device, and I'm going to be starting to send it deauthentication tokens, packets, saying, deauthenticate from this router, from this access point. I'm the access point. Connect to me. Don't connect to anyone else. And this is pretty much how it looks like in just like a summed up picture. Now the key features about this, all it takes is just one individual to fail. If I have one person connecting to me thinking that I'm their network, I could then send them, I forgot the last little part of the attack, is once someone connects to me thinking that they're the access point, I then automatically redirect all their web traffic to this one web page that says either upgrade your firmware or log into your Facebook account or log into your Gmail account. I could do whatever I want once I have you on my network. And it only takes one person to fail for me to get the credentials of the entire network. So if it is a firmware upgrade attack, and I say, in order to upgrade the firmware of your router, you need to give me your WPA password or your web password. Now, I would demo the crack for you guys here, but they haven't released the code for it yet. So when it does, maybe I will do a quick little demo for you guys. But still, this is one of my favorite ways to break into Wi-Fi networks. Like I said, it just gives you a quick little demo. This is actually the older version of it. They have a little bit of a better GUI attached to it. So you just choose the SSID that you want to attack. And then it starts to provide you ask what's the jamming interface, the one that's going in and saying, don't connect to this one, connect to me instead. And then this is kind of what the firmware upgrade page looks like. Kind of legitimate. You can obviously customize it to suit your attacker's model. So if they're running a different model and you have that reconnaissance, you can go ahead and customize your page a little bit better than that. The only requirements, 2 of these guys, or any other Wi-Fi cards capable of injection or monitoring. So prove it. So I just gave myself a little to-do list. What I'm actually going to do is this is my box, or my attacker, and this is going to be my victim, essentially. So right now, as you guys can see, I am connected to this little box right here, and that's my SSID. So what I'm going to do, I do have a video for this one, so I'll make sure that it works. I'm going to be evil Nick over on this side, and I'm going to start my attack. Now, I'm so sorry I don't have an HDMI cable here to showcase what I'm doing over here, but I'll play the video afterwards so you guys can actually see what's going on. So I see the SSID. I've selected the one that I want to clone. The really cool thing about this attack is that it works really well when you've even positioned yourself in like a middle scenario, in the man-in-the-middle scenario, because you want these guys to be a little bit stronger power-wise than your router over there. So if someone has their router in a corporation attached to the ceiling, and you're running this attack like next door or in your car right beside your target, then most likely they might be connecting to you instead of connecting to their router attached to the ceiling. So you can see here I've automatically disconnected. I'm just going to close these guys because we don't need them. So I've disconnected. I'm right now looking for a network. Now I found out that this takes a little bit of time to connect. Go back in here, turn it back on. So here we can see there's my network, but I don't have any encryption. So I go in here, I'm like, last time I joined it was WPA2, now it's open. Sure, it's my network, I trust it, I'm gonna join. What's the worst that can happen, right? So connecting. Geez, the Wi-Fi is horrible today, guys. Do you guys agree with me? Oh, what's this? There's no internet connection. What? Why does it ask me to put my credentials in here? I go in here, test, join my network. It's still not working. What's going on? Oh, by the way, that's not the real native Mac dropdown to type in your password. That's JavaScript and HTML5. And that's not actually you're not connected to the internet. That's an actual website to emulate you're not connected to the internet. So I've just stolen my credentials here, and I can see right here on the yellow part here that I have the actual password that I just typed. Great tool, absolutely amazing. I'm going to show you guys the video of what that looks like in the demo policy. Oh God. It's really persistent. I thought I already gave you my password. Now, I did this yesterday actually when I realized, oh my God, I didn't record any videos for this talk, so if any of these demos go like haywire. So what I did here was I actually was in the conference room just across from here, and I was like, I gotta record this attack right here. And I did it on my little camcorder so I can show you both computers at the same time. So this is what it looks like. You can see that I have all the networks around me right there displayed. I select the one that I want to attack to. I have my two devices that I've connected to. I can see that I'm not deauthenticating any clients right now, but I have the SSID, I have the channel, I have all the information that I need to attack it. So now I'm just waiting. Might need to fast forward a bit. It's about 2 minutes. Hopefully that'll be enough time. And then after that, we can take some questions. So there, I can see that I'm deauthenticating client 6C with that MAC address, another client as well. So I'm just constantly bombarding the whole network. I'm just saying, get off of this network, get off of this network, come to my network instead. So, and I'm also keeping an eye on my Mac just to make sure that when it does pop up, I can go over and quickly swing and show you guys exactly what I'm seeing on the Mac. Come on. So there. Connected to the fake network, just like I showed you over here. Trying to wait to see when I've actually given my client an IP address. So I'm just waiting for that one moment. And the second it has an IP address, that's when I start hammering your network with the come to this web page or come to this firmware upgrade page. There we go. Connect to this very insecure network. Same attack that I just demoed for you guys. Looks pretty legit. I think the join and the reset need to be updated a bit because I think they're actually blue, and they're a little bit bigger, but this would definitely fool me if I looked at that. This is really well crafted. I try to join. What's going on? Go back over to the attacker's computer. The password is I like pie. And that is my talk. Those are the demos. Hopefully I've got some time here. Actually, check out this lockpicking one. This one lockpicking video. Just in case I didn't get through, I was going to show you guys this, but I'm so glad I opened this. There's the snap gun, different angle. I'm using top of the keyway tension wrench. I feel it out, make sure I'm on all the pins. One snap, in. Perfect, all right. Questions? Yes, in the red.
In that last demo, if you're pushing all those deauthentication packets, can't you simultaneously attack the SSID of the network you're trying to get people off the packet?
Yeah, so if you're sending that deauth packet to everyone on the network, you could also just run the attack as like a denial of Wi-Fi attack. But you could also fine-tune it as well. You can actually specify which MAC addresses or which clients you'd like to deauthenticate. In my case, I had a couple of VMs that were hitting it. I had a couple other devices that were on my router. So I was like, just deauthenticate everyone. And then anyone that actually tries to connect, take them to this website. Yes?
What was the model of the TP-Link Wi-Fi dongles?
Yeah, so this is the TP-Link TLWN722N. Yes.
There is an issue with that one. We just found out there's a
Really?
version 1 and a version 2. Version 1 says on the device doesn't work.
Yeah. Hopefully I've got the right version. I've had these for a while now. But yeah.
They changed the
Great point. Thank you. Todd.
How does that compare for cost and functionality to the Pineapple?
I don't want to say anything bad about the Pineapple. I love Hack 5. Because I've had these guys for a really long time, even before the Pineapple was released, I've kind of just always stuck to these guys. I haven't even got my hands on a Pineapple, so I don't want to say anything that I haven't tested or reviewed myself. But definitely, if you guys have a Pineapple, I would love to sit down with you guys and we can do a comparison together. All right, guys, I think that's it for questions. If you want to reach out to me, I'll be out in the hall. Thank you.